Hello guys, today we'll be starting with lecture 11, which is Numpy. Now Numpy is a library in Python that essentially helps you deal with composite data structure. So Numpy is a composite data structure. When we say composite data structure, we mean that it is a collection, okay? More popularly known in other languages like arrays or something like that, but it's slightly diverse than it, and today we will study about it, okay? So first thing is how to create an NumPy array. Okay. So let me just copy this. This will be made available to you, so you can obviously do all of this. So we'd be using few things. Let's say I would make this cell type as markdown, and I will type uh, NumPy 101. Okay, and then I would make this cell again as markdown, and I will write creating a NumPy array. Okay. Obviously, I should have commented this down. Okay, and this wasn't okay, that's what happened. Okay, okay, so let's begin. I have just copied something and I will paste that. Okay, some issue might be here. Let me hmm. Okay, yeah, sorry, that was also marked down. I think this is now importing numpy as NP. So import is a command where you import libraries. Numpy is the name of library, as essentially I'm naming it as an alias, which becomes NP. So basically, whenever I now use NP, it means I'm using an numpy. Okay, ARR is array, NP is again numpy library dot array is the function, and I am creating an array. Okay, here. So let me create that array. You can see I've created array, and if I print it, it is essentially like this. Now, if I uh, just run this command, you can see that I have made a numpy n dimensional array or numpy nd array. Okay, so that essentially is creating numpy as array. Okay. Next thing is creating 2D arrays again. Now I will not import it again and again because I've already imported it once. Okay. So you can create multiple arrays as well. So multiple dimensional arrays as well. Okay. So let us figure out 2D arrays. Okay. Now as you can see, I have it in two brackets. Earlier, no, I have. Oh, sorry. I am gonna do this. Wait. The thing that you need to notice is that this time here was a list, and this time here is a tuple. These are also again Python data types that we will study. Now you can see that again I use it making a tuple, like using a tuple. So there are two ways to do it. Next thing is essentially 2D arrays. Okay, so let us do that. Okay. Hmm. So now you can see we've created two-dimensional array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 5, 6. These becomes very useful when we are working with matrices and other types of numerical operation. Also, this becomes the groundwork for our pandas data frame as well. Now, this can be a table, right? Where 1 and 4 is one column and 1, 2, 3 is one row. Okay, so that gives us the opportunity to start doing this. Next thing we need to check is array indexes. Okay, so again indexes, that means numpy array indexes. Indexes basically means a roll number or an ID or a location. Okay, so if I am declaring 1, 2, 3, 4 as an array and I'm doing first location, okay, you can see it's printing 2. That means if I do 0th location, it's printing 1. If I do location 4, it's printing index error. Why? Because 0, 1, 2, 3. There is no fourth index. Okay, so 3 should print 4. Make sense? Cool. Next, we'll go on to slicing. Slicing essentially means slicing an array and calling um, like a part of it or a slice of it. Okay, like you slice a cake, that way you slice an array as well. Okay, so this becomes slicing. Let us do this. And this should give you 1 to 5th index. Okay, so you see it gives 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, and 4th. So if you do till this 5th index, it doesn't give 5th index, it gives you before 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if I just print 1, it gives me empty. That means from 1 to before 1 is giving me an empty. But 1 to 2 will give me the first index. Okay. So a couple of things here to look at that you guys can look and understand. Okay. Then the next thing that we need to see is data types in NumPy. Okay, essentially there are a lot of data types: integer, boolean, unsigned integer, float, complex float, time delta, date time object, and all. Most important that you need to remember that you would be doing with is date time, string, time delta, and boolean. So do a quick Google search and try to understand the operations. We will obviously study some operations here as well. So another thing we need to understand is the difference between copy and view. Okay, so it basically means when I do a copy and a view, the difference being that the like I will create another NumPy array, but will it reflect into the same array as or not? So for example, I have, let's say, a NumPy array called A. Well, let me just I know it. Yeah. So I have a NumPy array called A, and I create a copy of it called A1. Now, if I do changes in A1, if it's a copy, then A remains unchanged. Okay. But if I create a view of it, A2, and I do changes to A2, the changes in its view reflect back to A. Okay. So if it's copy, then A1 does not change A2, but if it's view, then A1 would also change A. Okay. So we'll just quickly study an example as well. So that we don't have a problem with that. Just okay. Let's do an example as well. Okay, so first we'll be dealing with copy. The copy should not change the array, right? So as you can see that I did array 0 index 42. The new array, like the old array has changed, but the copy hasn't changed. Okay. Now let's look at view. Okay. And how does it deal with it? Now you can see that when I'm doing view, the original and the view both get changed. Okay. Let us also study about the shape of an array. Now, if you remember, last time I told you that arrays can be multi-dimensional. So obviously they can have shape. Okay, so let's study about. Okay, let's study about shape of an array. Now you can see this is a two-dimensional array with 4 into 4 elements. So obviously 4 rows, 2 columns, or you can basically say, 2 rows and 4 columns. So it depicts that, right? If I just print the array, you see that it has 2 rows and 4 columns. Okay. It has 2 rows and 4 columns. So the shape is 2 by 4. Simple. Now we are reaching something known as joins. Since they are table or they can be treated as tables, you can join them and split them as well. So you can join two arrays by a command known as concatenate. Okay, let us see that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two arrays as rows and then join them as a table. Okay. So if I do print ARR, so sorry, yeah, you can see that this has basically been concatenated into one single row, to one single array. We can do split as well, and you do a split via an index. Okay, so let me just mark down it. You can see how well I can use markdowns, right? So they are so helpful here. So if I print new array, what happens? Okay, so you can see that it gives you that array split into 3 arrays. That all you can do. You can do also some searching in it. So let's just show you a quick funda here. And this is interesting, okay? This is also teaching you composite statements in Python, okay? Let's just. So the array is here, okay? And I am basically trying to search where array is 4. So array is 4 at index 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So this should print 3. It has print array third index, data type 64. Now what you can also do is you can see that I can also do this, that wherever it is divisible by 2, so wherever it is even. So you can see at 0 index 1 is not even, but 2 is at 1 index. 4 is at third index, 6 at, and so on. So that also it can do. Cool, that is very cool. You can also sort it. So that should not be a problem, that you can sort an array 3201, and when it enters into np dot sort, np being numpy, dot sort being the function, it is able to sort it. And finally, you can filter it as well. Okay, let's see what does filtering means. So how is this working? Okay, how is this searching working? Is basically, if you do this, would create a Boolean array wherever it will see wherever this is true. So at 1, at index 0, this is not true, but at index 1, it is true, right? So this essentially is working via the mechanism of filtering. I will show you how that happens. Okay. How does that happen? Is this, that 41, 42, 43, 44, I've entered an array, and true, false, new array. I am putting that. And because of that, I can filter the new array, as you can see. Okay. So X is true, false, true, false, true, false. Now I have basically doing which index to include and which index not to include, right? So if I true this with T capital, always remember in Python, the Booleans are with capital, then 44 should also come. See? So this being said, that is there. Also remember, you can download this as a Python notebook or a file. I would be downloading this as a PDF for you guys. And we have an assignment, which is all the operations that we've done that you guys would try to figure out how to run it on 2D arrays as well. Okay. So that's the end of the meeting. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next lecture.